Hello and welcome to the Full Force News Burst live, brought to you by Generals Joe's Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. I am joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. If you give me a moment to introduce him and bring him in, there is Patrick. Also, we have Justin Generals Joe's Bell. Douche, there he is. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you a douche then. That was just a sound effect I was using.
Right.
I feel really bad.
And You've called me worse, Chris.
And also, we've got Adam, Mercenary for Hire, Riches. How are we all doing? Before all that, I've got to complete this, haven't I? So the Hasbro G.I. Joe team have just finished their Fan First Friday, and now we are live for our reactions. Get your comments and questions in, and we'll try and get to all of them. But first off, guys, how is everybody? How's everyone doing? Let's start with Pat. How are you, Pat?
Doing great. You know, it's Friday again. This is when we normally record about the right time, so it's fun.
We've got to do this and then the weekly. Oh my god! And also, Adam, how are you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you for a week. You've been on recently, actually.
More recently than you used to, right? I'm doing great. You know, we got a lot to talk about.
I should have called you Adam Regular Riches, but people would have thought that was your toilet habits. Justin, how are you doing, pal?
Doing good. Like Pat said, happy Friday.
Are you pumped after that Fan First Friday?
I am very pumped.
So let's start off. Well, initially, right, where we were told by Emily and Lenny in this Fan First Friday that she read like a statement, didn't she? It was like a PR statement that was basically explaining there's a lot of issues going on at the moment, obviously, in the world, and that was, I suppose, affecting the reveals. And what they've kind of done to get around some of that is to show us digital renders of the figures. Now, I know Star Wars have done this, Marvel Legends have done this, where you get like a kind of digital render, but like almost like a 3D painted model kind of thing going on. But we haven't really seen it with Joe necessarily, especially for the big reveal days. So this was quite a bit of a, I'm not going to say disappointing, but I was kind of like, oh, we're not actually seeing figures technically, we're seeing renders. And she also said they might change, the colors, deco, design, what you want to call it, might vary. So, I mean, what were your thoughts about that, Pat, when that first happened?
Honestly, I'm usually pretty happy to get to see some of the earlier stages of the process. So I'm happy that we have the opportunity to look at this slightly earlier stage.
You'd have preferred it if they'd gone concept art, presentation art.
Yeah, just show it all to us.
Tooling, all that jazz, amazing. Adam, what were your thoughts on the digital renders?
I was exceptionally disappointed. I only like tangible models that are hand painted. I almost felt like the disclaimer wasn't really necessary because all the stuff that we saw for the Sky Striker was digital renders that were colored in Keyshot too. So, ultimately for me, it's just nice to see them. I have an imagination, you know.
I feel like there was an element of like a buffer because they probably saw the comments coming in again. Yeah. Like I turned that chat off immediately. But also before I move on to Justin, sorry, Justin, cut you off here. Okay. Massive shout out to everyone watching at the moment. We've got a lot of people that's joined to watch us talk about our reactions to this. So thank you to everybody. Again, if you're getting questions in, I will get to them eventually, but maybe hold off a little bit until we've done our gabbing. Justin, tell me then, buddy, what were your thoughts when you were initially told that it was going to be digital renders?
Well, when they first mentioned it, I was a little disappointed because, I really love the diorama shots they typically do. That really kind of exudes the character a little bit better. So at first I was kind of like, I'm not too sure about this. But once we actually started seeing the renders and seeing how it all came together, I wasn't quite so disappointed because you could pick up a lot of the detail from the figures with those renders. And granted, some of that stuff might change. But all in all, I think it was a great way to do it. If it was given a choice between you see the renders or you see nothing for another month, I think seeing the renders was perfectly
That's a good point. That is a very good point. Right, well, I suppose we should really get on to looking at what we actually got. Just out of interest, not out of interest. What I thought was interesting is what I meant to say was the fact that sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once, and you know what my multitasking is like. We got Zaymot first, and it was kind of like Zaymot never goes first, and I was kind of like, well, it's Tomax and Zaymot, but I would say Zaymot and Tomax. Not that it really matters at all. Take me through some of these then, guys. What are your thoughts on this? Pat first. What are your thoughts on getting a Zaymot?
It kind of looks like about what I would expect from a Zaymot, so I don't really know what to add. I'm glad that they got all the details correct. That's always one of my concerns with Tomax and Zaymot. Like we had that set in like 2002, I think it was, where there was some question as to whether or not the scar was going to be correct. And so I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be approaching these things from the viewpoint of correctness, because they can take it where they want to take it. But it's the traditional Tomax and Zaymot look, and I appreciate that.
Unfortunately, I've lost. I can't hear anybody else on the stream, and it is a big issue. I'm trying frantically to try and sort this out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so we're running the show now, guys.
All right. We got rid of them. Let's do this.
Since we can hear each other, I'll go next.